Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Comrades of Cinema podcast. This is episode number 22. How about that? What, did I misspeak or what? You
No,
laughed like I said
I
ministry, and I was like,
just can't
uh-oh.
believe it.
No, I think you might have cut off like the first the comrades part because the recording was not started in time.
That's fine. They'll get the gist of it.
We'll get into it. We changed our name again. The Rods of Cinema.
If it is cut off, I'll just quickly record a video of me saying, welcome back to the com, and then that'll be it. Why not make more work for the edit? But so this is a podcast where us three friends of over a decade get to know each other a little better through the media we consume. We've got a couple segments for you today. But to start, we're just going to go over our media mashup and what we've been watching, listening, playing, consuming in any way.
I think it's your turn to start.
Yes.
Yeah. So
don't say yeah. You didn't talk. Brandon go, I think it's Chad, and you go, yeah. You bastard.
I was waiting for and since it's Chad's movie, we're gonna start with him.
I was just gonna let you go for it. I'm letting you free dive on this one.
No, so since last week we assigned our media mashup, I'm gonna sort of quickly go through my assigned media mashup so that I can get to what I really want to talk about for my actual media mashup.
Let me also say, truth be told, egg on my face. Totally forgot we did this segment. I definitely should have given you a lead-in with the context of us doing this.
So last week I was assigned the All Fantasy Everything podcast with Spencer Hall going over the best gas station foods, and this just listening to this just further cements that Spencer Hall is one of those people who could just be a professional podcast guest if he wanted to. Like that could just be his thing. He is just so funny and smart and has such lived experiences just throughout his life. He grew up or he lived in Southeast Asia for a couple years. He grew up in the South and knows a lot of old country music and just a lot of has driven across the country multiple times. Just knows a lot of real life stuff. He also a couple of years ago went to Mongolia for a few months, and that was so he has a ton of stories about that. But it was just he just fit in so perfectly because it was a blend of he could connect with all the hosts of the main hosts, but he also had enough interesting tidbits that they also would find interesting. So he fit in really well, and I enjoyed listening to it. So good.
What was the best food, and did you agree with it?
It was kind of more personalized to they're all their
it was more what they liked the most.
It's less trying to win a championship and more building the locker room you want with the draft kind of thing.
Yeah, like the one guy I think for his first pick,
the Lions.
I know who you're gonna
took nacho cheese, but it was just the cheese part.
No nachos, just filling up a cup with nacho cheese at the gas station.
Yep, that was his number one pick.
Be a man, fill up a cup with nacho cheese.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about is it's not really a media thing because it's not something that you consume through something else, but as we were kind of talking about a little bit before we started recording, is the World Cup being in the U.S. And over the weekend, I went to Boston to watch the World Cup match there. And
I forgot. Yeah, you can just travel. Traveling's a thing. People can
yes. and it was an insane trip. It, there was it was so much fun. I had such a good time.
That sounds awesome.
We walked so much. I never want to walk again. Like I just want to just get in my car and drive somewhere. But yeah, we
Welcome to Macomb County.
yeah, we went to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, and we were there for a couple hours, like 3 or 4 hours. And honestly, I could spend probably about 2 days in there, just exploring all the different exhibits and pieces of art that they have. That was one of the highlights. Then going to the game was a highlight. Our experience before the game was, it was like, is there anybody left in Scotland? Because the match was between Scotland and Haiti, and it just seemed like every person we ran into was from Scotland. Like, not just like a Scottish person living in America, but like from Scotland.
Yeah.
And so I kind of felt a little bit bad until we got to the stadium, and there was actually like Haitian people there that like were also interacting. Everybody we ran into there was super nice and just wanted to have the best time, and that was awesome. And then the next day we went to the Red Sox game at Fenway Park, and that was a definite bucket list experience for me. There's only really like 2 baseball parks I've ever really want to go to. The first, or one of them, was Wrigley, which I went to, a decade or so ago. Then Fenway, which I got to experience this weekend. So that was, I'll like never forget, hearing a "Let's Go Red Sox" chant in a Scottish accent, and just being, because like the stadium was about 65% Scottish fans, and it was so much fun.
That's awesome. That's so cool that you got to go. Was that your first time in Boston too?
Yes, first time in Boston.
That's awesome to do it during a World Cup game, man. That's awesome.
The city was just so much fun, and like we were saying that like you could spend 2 weeks there, like on a vacation, and you would still find things.
Some people spend their whole lives there.
Yeah, but I texted.
I don't know why I took a second to hit, but that really hit with me.
I took a picture of a piece of art from the museum that I sent to Josh of a person in a boat, and I was like, this is too fitting that we're in Boston and there's this picture of a guy in a rowboat with a storm approaching.
And he port in a storm.
Yep. I was like, this is just, I couldn't believe that I found this.
You better not have judged it, man. You better not have got there and just ripped his fucking life apart.
No, it was definitely not paid by numbers. But yeah, I
want to point out, side note, I'm proud that I've not picked Good Will Hunting yet as a movie, because I knew I was going to pick that very soon on. I was like, no, you're going to hold off on Good Will Hunting.
I don't think I've picked it either, but it's definitely on my list.
But I love it.
But yeah, just I don't know. We could spend another 3 hours just talking about my experience there. So I'll pass it on.
I bet. No, that sounds like a great time. Honestly, that's awesome. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
How long have you been planning that? It was kind of just spur of the moment.
So.
No, go on.
So when we watched the Super Bowl,
Josh, every now and then you're making this face like there's a gun pointed at you, and it's making me nervous.
Well, that's just the gun pointed at me, but I set that up myself to make sure that we actually record. So
there was some familiarity with it for sure in there as well.
Yeah, no, it's all just part of my recording setup.
Yeah, so around the Super Bowl, our friend Ivan was like, "Hey, I got these tickets. I'm planning on going with my dad and my brother, but they're not quite sure if they want to go." And some other things have happened in our lives since then. And so a couple of weeks ago, he texted me like, "Hey, do you still want to go to Boston?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so it was technically, a couple of weeks ago that like the plans were for sure. But
did you get into the game, or did you just go there go to the city for the game.
No, we were in Gillette Stadium as we know it, or Boston Stadium as they.
I prefer it, honestly. I prefer that. I think it's a shame that they took the World Cup coming here to be like, no, we're going to name it after the city it's in because the city paid for it, and because that's what sounds good because no one wants to be in a Gillette Stadium.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like that. I prefer that. It's much cleaner.
Not enough stadiums have cool names. I think it would be much better for a brand if it's like, even if they want to do like the whatever field brought to you by this stadium, instead of just being like,
Fenway
and
is
now
amazing.
it's
Wow.
Fifth Third Field.
Those red seats look so great.
I know.
Oh, that's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
What a weekend.
Yeah, it was. It was well worth the way too much money I spent, but
and
the walking, yes. So
no, that's especially if you're going to go to a city for the first time to go during a World Cup, that's like right up there. I feel like with a Super Bowl. In fact, maybe even bigger because you're not going to get people from around the world for. I feel like
for the Super Bowl, yeah.
At least in those numbers, I love that. It's so cool that I think that we got all the different countries playing in different cities and everything. It's
and I'll tell you what, I really like the way they did it this year, to where the World Cup is split over 3 countries, because there's some in Canada and some in Mexico, and I know the next World Cup
keeping it like a
is
North America thing. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and the next World Cup is Spain, Portugal, and Morocco are all hosting matches, that's cool. And then don't worry, they make it even better, because the following one, where else? Saudi Arabia. Just Saudi Arabia. Because where else would you host something? Yeah. Like, it's fucking just, of course, right? Like, why keep with a theme and do something cool when it's Riyadh season, baby? Let's go.
Yeah,
let's see if the Straits open, though. Then we'll decide whether or not it's going to happen.
Yeah, we definitely... towards the end, we're like, so we're saving money for Spain and Portugal, right? And Morocco, and everybody's like, yeah, we are. So maybe in 4 years, I'll be in Madrid or Barcelona or Lisbon or Casablanca or whatever.
Be smart. Find the most nothing city, like whatever the smallest countryside city with a big stadium that happens to be getting a match. Go there.
I'm gonna rely on our friend Ivan to do the ticket part, and we can figure out the rest.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw Ivan's wife and daughter over the weekend because Lori was hanging out with him, and Maddie was like, felt so bad, and she's like, Ivan really wished she could have had you come, and I'm like, I had surgery like 4 days ago. There's no world I'm sitting in a car for 12 hours. I would have loved to go. There's no world I would have been okay that soon off. Just like, I was feeling better, but like...
You would have made the news, though.
God. How so?
You just find a news reporter. I had surgery yesterday.
Oh, yeah. That could have been good.
They'd see what, like, local Josh Palmer, local Chargers receiver.
What team am I even on now? I signed a new contract with someone.
I thought he's not on the Chargers anymore?
No, he was on Buffalo for the past 2-3 years.
I'm sorry, I've not been paying attention to your career.
Am I still in Buffalo?
am I still in Buffalo? Oh, shit, I'm going to be late.
Okay, I'm still in Buffalo.
That's good. Shame you missed.
That's not far from Boston. I guess I wouldn't have been that far a drive.
Actually, we drove through Buffalo to get to Boston. Yeah, that's where Niagara is. Not too far.
Did you stop for wings?
We did.
Ah, man, what a perfect trip, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We also saw.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We also went to Harvard's campus. That was pretty cool.
Did you get a shirt?
No.
Good posers.
Well, he got some pictures. He was just doing it because he's posing as a lawyer at a law firm where you have to go to Harvard. So it's a whole thing.
The only picture I took at Harvard's campus was of the law school, so that's funny that you brought up.
I have to bring up, it's not exactly related, but one of my favorite jokes in all of TV is from the first episode of Community, where Jeff is talking to John Oliver's character, and he's like, yeah, they found out I didn't have a degree. John Oliver goes, I thought you had a law degree from Columbia. And he goes, turns out they want one from America. Gets me every time. That was like the moment I'm like, oh, I'm going to fucking love this show.
I told our friend Tango about that joke while in Harvard. Yeah.
Since we're just saying favorite jokes, I've been thinking about this one that I want to mention for a while, but I didn't know when to fit it in. But I was thinking about this the other day. It's one of my favorite Norm Macdonald jokes from a roast. And it's not even the full joke. It's more of like a segue between his jokes. But it's where he tells Gilbert Gottfried that later tonight you're going to get up and you're going to go find the men's room, and it's going to say "gentlemen" on the door. Pay no heed. Go in anyway. And I just the whole set is brilliant because he's obviously like it's a Bob Saget roast, and he's trying to he knows everyone's going to be as vulgar as possible. He knows everyone expects him to be as out there as possible. So he does the exact opposite and just kills it. But that joke, I just love how simple it is. Just like, the idea that he's going to go to the door, see gentlemen, and be confused because he himself is a gentleman. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so.
That's one of my favorite that and the Andy Samberg one where he does a similar thing and just like totally goes against the formula are so good, especially because Norm half the time, 2/3 of the time, maybe even 3/4 of the time, he tells a joke. It's just for him. If anybody else laughs, it's a bonus. But he's telling these jokes with his own happiness in mind,
and it just makes it better because you've already seen what he can do, at like when he wants to roast. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So like, just knowing that he can do it and that he's choosing instead to do these jokes instead that are also funny, but like, I don't know. Anyway, R.I.P. But is it me? Or are we going?
Since I started, right. I'll and I recommended a couple things to you. We'll go to you.
So Chad recommended to me a couple things. First one was a song by, I believe it was Ella Langley. Mm-hmm. What's the exact title? Just because it's the one that we all Choosing Texas. Yeah, Choosing Texas. Oh, do I got a second one by her on here? I got Dandelion by her. I know that was by her too. Yeah. So I don't listen like a lot of country music now. And I really feel like how Bo Burnham kind of described it. I thought he probably loved the song so much that it's just funny. Bo Burnham's country song, because he talks about like not liking stadium country music and whatnot. But 106.7 The Fox was a country station that had played new and old school country when I was in middle school. And I used to have the radio by my bed, and I'd have the headphones, and I'd listen to it all night, and I'd listen to all the different country songs. All this, I actually think country music. And I didn't get into rap or hip hop until I was in like junior or senior in high school. But I do feel like there's a lot of similarities. I feel like rap and country are much closer than people give them credit for, or that people would assume. But anyway, so I do like country music. Or really all different types of genres, but I do enjoy country music. So I had been listening to this song before you recommended it. And besides just enjoying the melody, it's got a very kind of an old school vibe to it. Old school 90s country vibe, I feel like. What I love about it is, literally when you sent me the video of them dancing, of how people react to it, I'm like, that's the exact dance I'm thinking of every time. Every time I'm like, I was trying to kick my foot out, But I watched the music video too, because I was like, well, let me add a little something to it, because I've already listened to the song though, and the music video, I loved it. And what I loved about it too was that from someone who's done music videos for people, and I've always enjoyed doing them, but there's something about just like how simple hers was.
It's the one where she's at the bar and the two people are dancing. So that's not actually the official music video.
Is that not the official one?
That's
idiot.
That's the lyric
Stupid
video.
Man.
God damn it! That's it. I'm ending the recording. We're gonna. I'll see you next week. 22 was good. 22 was good.
That's the lyric video. The actual music video I don't like as much as the lyric video.
Incredibly complicated.
Yeah, but so when you said
dream sequences in a music video.
So when you
so the
said
lyric video, then.
Yeah, when you said music video, I got kind of confused, or not confused, but like a little anxiety. I was like, oh no, did he watch like the 7-minute like boring ass one or the actual
Damn
good
it,
one?
no. I watched the lyric video then.
Okay.
I guess I consider the lyric because when a music video is longer than the song to the point where it breaks out in like a
sketch or whatever, yeah.
I just am like almost the only time I've ever liked a song that did that was actually on Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City album. And it's actually one of my favorite lines when he's like, yo, there's someone in this room. What? I said, there's somebody in this room. When they're breaking into someone's house. Whatever, but anyway, so I really enjoyed it. It made me also think, like, my God, how many songs are there about Texas? How many songs are there about Texas? I feel like it's almost like a rite of passage, And I was just trying to, there's all my exes live in Texas. If you want to play in Texas, you got to have a film the band. I think Alan Jackson has a song, Dallas, but he also has Montgomery. So he has Midnight Montgomery. Although I don't know if that's Alabama or.
That's Alabama.
Montgomery's Alabama.
Isn't there Montgomery, Tennessee?
Possibly.
Maybe, I don't know. There's every town, state, and city and county uses the same 5 goddamn names. They pick a word and they're like, it's Oak Bay and Harbor, and that's what we're going with. Some variation.
Tree, body of water. That's the naming convention.
But also, so I really enjoyed the song. And I didn't realize that I had actually on here also the song Dandelion by her, which is also, if you haven't heard that one, I think it looks like it's on the same album. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was given from Chad to watch was House of Dragons. Now, I don't think I'm actually to the point where I'm caught up to where I was before, but it doesn't matter because I'm watching things where I'm like, I don't remember this part, which is nice. And there's parts so this is what I was saying. So I realized why I didn't like it the first time I watched it. And it simply, I think, it was within like a few months of me just finishing Game of Thrones and watching it all the way through. I watched it in like a month and a half, all the way through all the seasons. And then I think it was within a few months that one was out. And a mix of the tone is much darker, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. And so the characters aren't as immediately as likable, I feel like. And I just wasn't ready for and that's with me with everything. If I found like an album that had a song I really liked on it, I might not listen to the rest of the album for quite some time because I don't feel I'm going to like it as much as I love this song. And I'll be, I'm going to psych myself out.
There is something to that too, where when you finish something and you start something new and it's just like too similar, but also too different from that thing to where it's like, it's similar enough to where I kind of just want more of that thing.
Yeah.
But it's not that thing. And that can be off-putting.
And I'll tell you what I didn't like, and I'm not crazy about it now. I'm not against it because I can understand it. There's tweaks I like to make to it, but I didn't like it when during watching the transition between the two, when I compared the two, which is I don't really like the time jumps. I can understand them for the story now when I'm watching it kind of on its own, but the world of Game of Thrones, the original, is so long and lived in and explored that time jumps kind of feel so unearned. And so, we're, and also just fucking tell me, God damn it, how much fucking time is passing? Just tell me. Just say 5 years later. It's simple. One little flash. Even if you want to have a character say it verbally, but just clearly, because they're not aging enough sometimes. You know what I mean? I can't tell. Anyway, that's my one nitpick. But I'm glad you told me to watch it because I am enjoying it. I'm on episode. Did I finish episode 4? No, I think I've got maybe 5. I'm on the last 5 or 10 minutes, maybe, or I finished. I forget when I came on here of episode 4. It's some moments I found incredibly funny and interesting. They found this is how I picture the writers' room going. how are we going to get the audience to get on board with a 65-year-old man dating an 18-year-old woman or girl, whatever? And they're like, I have a perfect idea. We're gonna say the other option's a 12-year-old. Because immediately I'm like, hey, this is a cute couple, actually.
Good for him.
Hightower.
Good for him doing the right thing.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. When they're walking together, even the 12-year-old. And then the moment where when Nero calls him out on it, like, you almost married the 12-year-old. He's like he's just like, he knows. He's like, you got me.
Could have been messy.
Yeah. All right. Not my finest waffle. My finest, not, maybe it wasn't as hard a decision as it should have been, but, well, I forget the other part that they brought up that was similar to that, but, no, I'm enjoying it. They definitely, the extra, the more dragons, I definitely, the context you put the king in, I thought really helped. Okay, he doesn't want to be king. All right. Yeah. And then look at them and be like, well, he's doing the right thing.
Certainly acted like it.
Yeah. Like, honestly, it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm like, man, could you imagine how they actually, like, every now and then, like, Damien will say something that you're like, that's fucked up, but also kind of true. Like, not the craziest, not the crazy, I mean, honestly, could you imagine if Damon was the king's hand? Like, it would be. They would be. I feel like, actually, the combo of Damon and King Viserys, with Viserys as the final say, I think would actually be a very balanced, kind of duo. So it's kind of a shame they're not actually doing it. Obviously, it would make for a good story, but no, it's and then, then they had when Rhaenyra is looking at her, like, finding her mate or her who she's gonna wed, and she's like offended that the old man puts himself in, and it's like, yo, you're who did he think he was? I don't know. He saw that your best friend was married to the king. You know what I mean? Like, that's gotta be weird as shit. Just like, first off, not just weird because your friend is dating your parents, which apparently we're seeing isn't good for your friendship. So it's not good for your friendship. We saw this both in 4 Christmases and now A House of Dragons. 4 Christmases, I've never seen a great Christmas movie. But anyway, where's I going? Where's my next last thing I was going to say about this? No, I'm just like, I am enjoying it. I think it's what is his name? Who's Damon? Who plays Damon? He's wonderful.
Matt Smith.
Great. Matt Smith. Yeah, He's great. He was Doctor Who, wasn't that? Something like that before. Yeah.
I'm thinking about starting Doctor Who at some point because there's a couple actors who have been the Doctor that I really love. And I've been told you don't have to watch the whole thing. Just, like, pick a doctor you like and jump in there. And I'm like, maybe I will, because I do really like Matt Smith and David Tennant quite a bit.
I love how they've done that. How they just keep going. They just keep changing it out. Like, I do like that. Meanwhile, Marvel's like, we've got to bring back Robert Downey Jr. We've got to bring.
How can we survive?
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't do this without him.
I'm interested to see how you react to a certain storyline in season 2 that goes on. Because season 3 starts on Sunday. So and I know what the first episode is about, and it should be very interesting.
All right. I'm going to continue it. I've been enjoying it. I'm glad you pushed me to watch it again. No, like I said, and they knew what the people wanted to some degree. Dragons. So the people wanted dragons. I think that's what we've gotten in the comments section. They want dragons, so we're gonna give them dragons. And they'll give us dragons. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's I forgot to say, but no, I'm enjoying it. Yep. Yeah. So, Josh, you're it.
Yeah. I like Chad. I'm going to do one quick media mashup that I just wanted to talk about, and then the one that was assigned. First, like I said, I had surgery, so I was sitting at home, not doing much. I had a long list of TV shows and movies to watch, and I watched one movie because I was just so in and out of like being awake, and then I was on pain meds and everything, so I'm dozing off. Focusing was really hard. But video games I could play because they required enough like active participation to keep my attention. And I got and played through the new Resident Evil 9 Requiem. This game fucking rules, man. It's so much fun. They do a great blend. You play as two characters mixed throughout that keep sort of interacting on this path, and one of them, they each provide a different experience. You play as Grace, who provides the standard like horror Resident Evil, where you have weapons, but it's a lot of like this one was consistently like scary throughout, which is nice for Resident Evil because Resident Evil 8 is, granted, it's one of my favorite games. It is like terrifying for like 10 minutes and then it's fine for the rest of it. It's like it's really good, but it's not scary. And when I'm playing a horror game, I want to be scared. Like that's what I'm paying for. And hers was terrifying at moments, but was consistently creepy and like had me on edge, especially playing that. I try to only play horror games at night, like in the middle of the night, just to add to the ambiance.
In the woods.
Yeah, I drag everything out into the forest behind my house and I play out there. But then Leon Kennedy, Resident Evil OG character, is much more of like an action. He's got like 15 guns that he's cycling through and provides a different experience in the game, which is also a lot of fun. I'll say last week I talked about Expedition 33, where I picked the ending that I felt was the good ending, and I was correct. I think I chose right. It's not like there's a correct answer or not. Resident Evil gives you a choice at the end, and boy, did I pick the wrong one. I picked my ending. There's a 30-second cutscene. My character gets shot in the head, and then the game ends. And I was like, that's tough. So I'm like, well, let's, anytime there's multiple endings, I do what everyone does. And I'm like, well, that's my canon ending, I guess. Let's go see what the other ending is. There is a 5-minute cutscene, a boss fight, and then a 10-minute cutscene setting up the next game. And I'm like, wow, so they're not even hiding. I really fucked that one up really bad. Like, there's not even like there was maybe you chose right. They're like, you idiot. You got him killed, and now you don't get another game. So,
there's no right answer, but there is a wrong answer.
Yeah. But like the fact that they basically set up the next game, really, and I looked it online, and they're like, yeah, there's a canon ending, and then there's the other ending. And I'm like, well, damn, man, I really thought I was doing the right thing. But yeah, really good stuff. I love Resident Evil. I love Silent Hill. I love horror games. And this was a really good one. Resident Evil has really returned to form with 7, 8, and 9, and I'm so happy about it. They are putting out really good games. They just announced a remake of Code Veronica, which I'm excited about too. They are kind of killing it right now, and it's just a good time to be a Resident Evil fan. But on to the assigned viewing experience of the week. I was given Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This is one of those movies I think everybody in the world has like heard about. It's just got that reputation. It's Stanley Kubrick. It's got one of the most iconic visuals in the history of movies that has been parodied 1,000 times. It's got one of the most famous lines of dialogue, which Brennan mentioned last time. The gentleman, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. So I'll say I didn't love this like I thought I would. I think part of it's the product of how old this movie is, and it just, it's definitely funny. There were points that made me laugh. I took notes. There's a conversation. Anytime the presidents are talking is great. When after the bomb launch and he's talking to Dimitri and he goes, "I'm sorry too, Dimitri. I'm very sorry. All right, you're sorrier than I am, but I am sorry as well. I'm as sorry as you are.
Dimitri.
Don't say you're more sorry than I am, because I'm capable of being just as sorry as you are. So we're both sorry, and it's like it's really good. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that almost suffers from its reputation.
I think it's just a darker or drier comedy than you might expect. I probably should have set that up a little more. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely understand the kind of like, this isn't as laugh out loud as maybe I was expecting.
And I think, on it's the kind of movie where you can watch multiple times and get more from it each time.
Yeah.
Because of that style of humor, there are points where I sort of like almost found myself being like, oh shit, this was a joke. And not in like that was a bad joke, but like, wow, I didn't even realize they were setting up and leading into this joke. It's something I'm definitely glad to have like checked off the list, because as people who host a movie pod, it's like whenever you have a reputation of being someone who watches a lot of movies, and then someone brings up a classic and you haven't seen it, and they're like, but you like movies and you haven't seen every movie, you haven't seen all of them. Yeah, right. But it's so I'm glad this one I can take off the list. I will definitely be rewatching it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's not like I was a distracted watcher or anything. I watched it and I did like it. I just, again, the reputation and everything, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking love it. And I think I hyped myself up too much.
It almost makes you feel like, not saying it's a Monty Python comedy, but it's almost like gonna be like a laugh out loud like type of comedy like that.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more like, I mean, I absolutely just love the Dr. Strangelove character. Why didn't you tell the world?
Yeah. The ending was also kind of weird.
I'm trying to remember the ending. It's where he.
The doctor stands up and goes like, "Oh, I can walk," and then it cuts to footage of bombs going off with "We'll Meet Again" playing.
I think the idea is that that's how, almost like how excited he was for it, how happy he is for this.
I can see that.
But I also love that.
I will say that I've said for years, that's the song I want played at my funeral. I love that song so much.
That's such a good version too.
I really, so that did end up, while I was like, I don't know about this ending, it did win me back because that song was playing and I found myself sort of singing along to it as it was going. But
going back to the not watching classic as movie people, that's how this podcast started, because I hadn't seen Goodfellas. So
yeah,
I just haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
We got to fix that soon. We got to figure out the schedule for that. But I mean, it's easier now that you're not working on like weekends or even nights, and we can.
Well, I'm still gonna be doing Saturday night at Jets for a little bit, just because I gotta keep that cash for a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, now like scheduling anything extra is significantly easier.
Yeah, much more doable, and it's also easier to watch. Now it's almost like every night I'm like, hey, I can watch something if I want to watch something. I can sit down because not that I wouldn't watch it during the day or in the morning, but it doesn't feel that it's not the same. It's harder to get myself to sit down and do it, I feel like. Because
at the beginning of the day, there's still too much you can be doing. That it's like, do I really want to dedicate 2 hours to just sitting here? At the end of the day, it's like, I've earned this. I get the right to sit down and not do anything for a little while. But yeah, I appreciate you giving me this one to watch. I liked it. I gave it like 3.5 stars first viewing.
I think you'll enjoy it more on your second viewing for sure. It's definitely, I felt the same way of like a feeling like I thought this was more. I thought this was a little more out there or a little more in your face comedy.
Yeah, and the fact that like the two main things from it are like so iconic and funny. The war room line and then the visual of him riding the bomb down to Earth are like really so like overtly comedic that those being my two like touchstones going in, I expected that throughout the whole thing, and it wasn't.
I can definitely understand the slight disconnect that you get. No, I definitely understand that. Like I said, I feel like every time I watch it, I enjoy it more because I get a deeper understanding of just like the politics of it, the characters of it. You know, the whole thing starts because General Ripper is having sex and like loses his libido and is like, it must be the fluoride in the water that the communists are putting. Like it's like, it's. I forget. I'll have to find it again. There's a good video essay that I loved watching about it. That kind of talks about like all the different like ways it's about like masculinity and like sex and all. Like how the opening shot is literally like with like kind of like this kind of like romantic or kind of like mood music of an airliner refueling. Of like of it going in, whatever. Like so, it's very like I don't know. It's definitely one that I can understand the feelings on the first viewing, and I definitely would say it's one that every time you watch it, I feel like it's one that you kind of get a little more appreciation for. But I totally get it.
I'll just say too, because I realized what I think I was more expecting. You said Monty Python, and that's good, but I think I was almost expecting more of a Mel Brooks.
I could definitely see that, especially with those two ideas of those two iconic images, or moments.
Yeah,
definitely. And even just like if I were just to show you like, hey, here's 5 seconds of each of Peter Sellers' characters, no context, any context, you would be like, oh yeah, Mel Brooks film or something.
Yeah,
like because each one of his characters is I love each one of his characters. They're so great. He's the president, Strangelove, and then he's the British guy in the beginning. No, anyway, but yeah, I'm find and also like. It they opened with that sign in the beginning saying this couldn't happen. Okay.
No, I think they're right. I think the people here are too competent for what is currently going on.
True, there seemed to be a lot of like the commitment and everything. Yeah, there's a lot they had to really No, I could. That gives me some solace. Does that bring us to our top 5? Do you want to do top 5 first?
Sure.
I feel like So, because the film of the week is going to be is South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut. But for the segments, I figured I enjoyed the top 5, and we did the top 5 for the sports movies. And I thought, you know what? Why not? It was either between this or have Chad waste our time again. But I don't know if he was going to have something ready. So I figured we could do for the sake of South Park, in the theme of South Park, we could do our top 5 favorite South Park episodes. I will start first. Like I said, I didn't have titles for these. One of these might actually be the title. The rest of these I know are not the title. But I'll just kind of describe the episode. So the first one I have is it was the episode about Red Dead Redemption coming out. Okay. And everyone in the town is obsessed with playing Red Dead Redemption. And also Man Bear Pig comes back.
Okay.
And a big theme of the episode is about how Man Bear Pig is coming back because of a deal that Stan's grandparents and grandfather made with Man Bear Pig, basically for cars and ice cream, to and they promised him the souls of the future children or something. So Man Bear Pig has now come back, and it ends with Stan sitting down and making another deal with Man Bear Pig to be and it ends with him being like, Man Bear Pig says that he will forgive our debt. We just have to give up soy sauce and Red Dead Redemption 2. And someone in the crowd just yells out, so just plain old rice? and then they're like, so never mind. So they don't take the deal. So then the deal goes to that Man Bear Pig will be promised the souls of their children. There's a great, I liked the show. I like the YouTube channel Wisecrack. And they have a great episode on that episode. Just kind of talking about kind of the philosophy of that episode. And so that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed that episode. It also made me want to play Red Dead.
All right, who's next?
You can take it, Chad.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go 5-1, starting with 5. I'm going to go Scott Tenorman Must Die is the name of the episode. It's where Cartman has a bully and kills his parents and feeds it to him in chili. And it's where Cartman turns into the annoying neighborhood kid into a full psychopath and a murderer. And everything after that episode, and when you view that in that lens, they're like, oh, this is just a murdering kid that's just
it really
around.
upgrades the tone of the show.
Yeah.
You know? And like I remember when I first, that's one of mine, and it's the only one that has the title. And I remember my first time seeing that, it was being like, okay, this is a different show than I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is not, this is nothing I'm used to.
All right, what do you got for us, Josh?
Yeah, so like I said, I am not as well versed on South Park. I loved it years ago, but I haven't really watched in 10 years. And I thought maybe I'll try to quickly like binge through a bunch, and then I thought, no, let's just try to go off like what I remember being the episodes I really like. So I'm gonna put them in like 5 order. I definitely have a number 1, but the rest of these could truly be sort of mixed around. So the first one I'll put is Awesome-O.
Yes.
Where Cartman pretends to be the robot and fucks with Butters. Butters is, I think I was saying earlier to a couple other buddies, I think it's very clear what characters shows intend to be the funniest character. And it really, like, it's not super often they nail that. Like, often other characters end up stealing the show or, like, becoming better. I really think South Park was like, all right, Cartman's going to be the funniest one, and then they fucking nailed it. I think, especially through, like, early seasons, he is so fucking funny. That said, I think Butters might be my favorite character because Butters is also so funny and used so sparingly that it, like, really, anytime he's featured, it works so well for me. So that episode, I remember just really, really enjoying because it's my two favorite characters interacting for most of it. So yeah, Awesome-O is going to be at number 5.
So for me, I will say, when I say top 5, this literally is just a top 5. I don't think this is not in any actual order for me. These are just 5 I love. But I could not disagree. I could not disagree with picking either Butters or Cartman as your favorite or funniest characters. But for me, I think it's really Cartman's always been up there, but for me, I think I've always come back to Randy.
Yeah,
and Randy is my favorite, and he's the star, at least for me, the real comic engine of this one of my favorite episodes. Might be, I don't know if it's the first one I watched, but it's one of the first ones I watched, and it's where Stan becomes a Pee-wee hockey coach, and it is fantastic because here's the premise. So Stan is like 10 years old, as we know. He's a Pee-wee hockey coach, so he's coaching like 5 and under. And so he played Pee-wee hockey, but doesn't seem to actually have any memory of it. Or like anyone you'd have, like when you're 10 and you play something really, really, really young. Your parents have probably a much better memory of it than you do. Randy is haunted by Stan missing a shot in the game. Stan doesn't seem to remember. Randy is haunted by it and thinks that Stan is haunted by it and that Stan is trying to relive that. And like the whole time he's like, Stan, you can't change the past. Like, it's just like, and then at the same time, there's a teammate, one of the players on Stan's Pee-wee hockey team that he's coaching is like dying of cancer. And the doctor keeps telling him that basically the game, the way the team plays, his health is a direct impact of how he is. Like his health is how he plays is a direct impact on his health. So it's like when they lose, when it's like they want him to win. The kid's like, win for me, and they tie the game. And the doctor's like, he hasn't gotten better or worse. It's almost as if he's tied. and there's one of my favorite lines in the whole series, where they have to tell the parents of the kid with cancer. They have to tell the kid that he's dying of cancer, but they don't want to tell him. So they go to Stan, who's the coach, and they go, "Can you tell him?" I'm just his father. But you're his coach. You're like a father to him. I think about that line all the time. One of my favorite episodes. If I had to really nail one down, I might put this one at number one. I haven't seen it in a minute, but it's got. I think I just brought up 3 different storylines worth of jokes that are absolute. Each one is gold on its own. But anyway, so
yeah. Alrighty. So for my number 4, I'm gonna go with Make Love Not Warcraft. It's a classic episode. It's another great Randy episode. him creating a character and dying and just
and him making all the noises when he's dying.
Yep. It's got the classic, mom wore hot pockets or
they're shitting in the bedpans.
Yeah, yes,
that's a great one.
The the Butters line of I thought you said that you play on your computer all the time after school, and then I forget what game he plays, but it's like
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, it's like Pretty Princess or something like that. So that's a great one. What do you got for us, Josh?
Yeah, so for my next one, I will go with The Losing Edge, which is the one where they're playing Little League Baseball and every team is desperately trying to lose so they don't have to keep playing through summer. It's got the classic Randy, I thought this was America! For something that is still quoted by like everybody who's seen that episode anytime anything goes even a little not your way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a great quote to pull out. Yeah.
That's a great one.
And like I play baseball and I really loved baseball, but even at my most like, God, I want to play forever. There did reach a point in the summer where I was like, fuck it, hell, man, I want to be done with this season. But yeah, just a classic one.
My next one is The Scott Tenorman Must Die. And like I said, for me, it was a real, it was one of the first early episodes I watched again where I was like, oh my, just like, this show is not like nothing I've seen before, just like, when he starts licking Scott's tears and saying, oh, they say so sweet. They taste so sweet and salty, whatever. Like, it is classic Cartman as we know him now. So yeah.
My number 3 or not 3. Wait, where am I?
I want 3.
Yep.
Yeah, 3. Is Fish Sticks. This is the Kanye West gay fish episode. Just it's like pretty much perfect. The setup, the joke is just funny enough that it's funny, but it's not so funny that it dominates everything about this episode.
It's funny and it's stupid enough to get for the struggle that Kanye has with it.
Yes. And I also enjoy the fact that Kanye loved this episode. I don't know. It just
can I though? I have a big negative against this. I think you could link this episode directly to the downfall of Kanye West. I think this was the first domino that really tipped the scale of him going down the path he went, and I'll never forgive South Park for that. But it's a great episode.
This one came out when I was a freshman in high school, and I remember the night it came. I remember the day after it came out, and I didn't watch it that night. But everyone came in that day and was telling the fish sticks joke, and I had not seen the episode yet, but also really didn't like fish sticks. So everyone thought I was just ruining the joke for them, and I was like, "Do you like fish sticks?" I was like, "Oh God, no!" And like. Fucking seen the episode. I was like, no, I'm a very picky eater. Haven't even tried it if I'm being honest, but I don't want them. Don't want anything to do with it. It just sounds gross, looks gross, everything about it. Not into it. Was it me again? Or was it you? No, it's you, Josh.
Yeah, it's Josh.
Yes. I'm debating which ones to Okay, I'm gonna go with what you could argue is their most successful episode because of what it turned into. I'm going with All About Mormons.
Yeah, that's a great episode.
Great episode. I took a couple theology classes in college. I really like learning about other religions and sort of everything that inspired them. And I especially love learning about them when they are being viciously mocked on South Park. And this has one of my favorite like payoffs in jokes where the whole episode, you don't even notice it as like a thing, but every time John Smith talks, they'll go dum 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 dum, and it just sounds like a musical thing. And then late in the episode, someone critiques him, and they go smart, 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 and it's like it's such a fucking funny. Like I was so unready for it, and it like on rewatch, it just made it even better.
It does make it, yeah. Because when you watch it again, you're like, oh my god, yeah, no, that's a great one. And I love that they're like, they put at the bottom of it often, like, nope, yes, this is exactly what he said and thought.
Yeah.
No, this is,
and the fact that like, yeah, they didn't like make up a story to be like, let's like add in crazy details or anything. They're like, this is insane enough to where we can just.
I think they do the same thing with Scientology. I think they do a similar thing with Scientology where they flash at the bottom like, yeah.
That was on my short list, but I think this one was just better, and it's spiraled off into a Tony-winning like musical. So like, you know, the impact it had beyond that is definitely there.
So my next one, I don't think I'm going to know this might be the episode title or close to it, but it's where they become junior detectives, and they actually work for like the police department, and they go on like shootouts and drug busts and everything, and the other cops take them very seriously and are acting like because they're not doing coke and taking money off the top, that means that they're going to rat them out. And that they can't be trusted, and it's like they play it so straight. And meanwhile, like they'll be in an actual shootout where everyone's, you know, killing each other, and they're just like pew 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 with their fingers, and like somehow still like managing to like they'll go in and pretend like they're shooting, and then like all this damage ends up getting caused anyway, and they get blamed for it. It's a great little episode. I also just love the chief of police, not Barb Brady, but the one with the red hair.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, so for my number 2, I'm gonna go with Butter's Bottom Bitch. It's Butters.
Kisses for free.
Yep, Butters is easily my favorite character, especially like when you realize, kind of, you know, looking back, that Butters wasn't really even in the first few seasons. That like they do so much with his character like in a relatively short time, and
halfway through season 3 was his first like speaking appearance or time being addressed as Butters,
and it's just bitch, you can be making some real fucking money. It's just I don't know, I love it. Especially like I don't know, like early in high school, I had some friends that were like seniors and whatever, and for what I don't know why, but they called me Butters for some reason, probably because I had like blonde hair.
I was gonna say your hair was like way blonde back then, so that's probably it. They're high schoolers; they're not creative.
No. Yeah. So Butters Bottom Bitch.
It's a great one.
So, you know, I was debating. I'm just going to move the Scott Tenorman Must Die to my honorable mentions because you guys have both talked about it. It obviously is great. But I'm going to give a shout out to Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
It really set the tone in like a really good way. It's very funny. And I think there's something to like, you know, because back then TV is way different than it was now. It wasn't like, oh, they put out a whole season of it. So, oh, that first episode didn't really catch me, but it's auto playing, so I'll give it another shot. it's like they had their one chance to like, you got to make an impact with this first half hour if you want people to keep tuning in, and they crushed it. And it's the alien consistently popping up throughout the rest of the show too. It's just a nice little nod, but yeah, I just think it was a solid intro and a very good episode in memory.
So my last one, because I already forgot because I actually forgot what my honorable mention was. I forgot to write it down. But my last one is, I forget the exact title of it, but they go on a field trip to, it's like Funland or something, and they end up at like a or Funland might be close. No, they end up at like some 1864 themed amusement park thing, where the characters are all in character that it's 1864, and they will not break character even as they are held hostage during an armed robbery.
I remember this episode.
Guns to the,
it's called Super Fun Time.
Yeah, I think they kill one of them, and they're still they're like, what's the combination of the code? There weren't no safes in 1864. Like, it's such a commitment to it. It's one of the, like I said, it was one of the first ones I watched that just stuck with me. I'm just like, to the point where, like I said, they're literally shooting people in the head, and how graphic it gets. And I think finally, it's like revealed that the password to the code was just, of course, the password to the safe was just, of course, 1864. But and they ended up also, just to add, it was like a heat style robbery, but like they robbed. I'm sorry, they weren't robbing necessarily where they were at. They were coming from a robbery, and then just kind of added them on top of it because they were holding them hostage. But they robbed like a Burger King originally, and had like $20 in like cash.
Yeah. So originally when I wrote my 5, I had the 5 that I was gonna do, and then throughout the course of this, I remembered the Butters Bottom Bitch one. So now I'm gonna have to bump one of them to honorable mention, and so my honorable mention is Woodland Critter Christmas, and it's another one of those. It's very violent for an animated show on Comedy Central, but the story is so funny that it makes all like these demonic woodland creatures, and, having orgies and killing kids. It makes it funny somehow. But my number one, and I'm kind of cheating because it's actually 3 episodes, but Imagination Land. I watch that every once in a while, and I'm just like, this is just too good. And I somehow it turns a legal drama into like the funniest thing ever.
My balls are dry and I'm running out of time. That's a great one.
My favorite, my number one. I kind of, when I was putting this together, it was like, Brennan said in the chat, what are your top 5 favorite? And I immediately was like, okay, well, number one for me is when they formed the Christian band.
Yes.
That one is so funny. It's got the great joke with Tolkien in the bass.
Yes.
It's got the songs that I still, Body of Christ, oh, what a body all busted up and toned. There are so many. It's just.
Want to.
And again, I went to private school my whole life. I still, as a Christian, the jokes about country music using the same 3 lines over and over again, it's the only genre that can rival that is Christian music. There are so many, like, oh, this person's making Christian music. Oh, it's the same 4 lines over and over again. It's like Christmas music, where it's like people covering the same 5 songs over and over again. So this
just doesn't Carpenter just go like, you just take a love song and you swap out the lover's name for Jesus?
Yeah. And it's oh man, Yeah, there was no thought. That was always number one for me. Everything else was just what else am I going to fill this list with? So yeah, I don't know what the episode's called. I think it's called Christian Hard Rock or something.
That's a great one.
Christian Rock Hard. Sorry. Yeah, awesome.
Side note, I think let's skip because I do have to do a phone call closer to 9. I know I might be able to push it a little bit later, but so I do kind of have to skip the making the list one and go to the film of the week after this.
Sounds good.
But I will say quickly, I did remember my honorable mention, which was a recent episode from I think 2018. They did the school shooting one where there was like multiple school shootings in the same episode, but like everyone was reacting like they were just so annoyed and like tired of it and like, oh God, what? And the whole time Sharon is like upset that she's like the only one reacting normally, like this is terrifying, this is horrifying, how do we fix this? And Randy is just like, are you sure it's just not your time of the month? Like, are you sure? Like, what's really? He keeps saying he'll keep being like, but what's really bothering you? It's just. And I remember I watched it because it was in film school when it came out. I was trying to tell someone that like I was trying to tell that you could make anything funny, and they're like, you could make a school shooting funny. I'm like, I'm sure you could find a way. And then that episode came out that week, and I was like, perfect timing because that was a hard one to back up. But here it is. But anyway, so that brings us to the film. We have so many banners now. Film of the week.
Yeah, so this was my week, and I wanted to do a musical, so we picked South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. And just a little, history with or my history with South Park. I definitely, for somebody my age, I came to South Park much later than the normal, millennial guy. But so I'm it's my like, if I have nothing else to watch now, I'm like slowly catching up on all the episodes. I'm in season 15 now. But this show is just so like brilliant, and like my appreciation mostly comes from the fact that Trey Parker and Matt Stone don't think of themselves as like particularly funny or insightful or whatever. So to get to the movie, the Terrence and Phillip is what the creators think of themselves. They think of themselves as just a toilet humor, bad comedy. But they have like years of like really good like morals and things like that they've put in their episodes. It's like, how can you guys not see like how good this is? But yeah, just
do they have EGOTs?
I don't think they've won an Oscar.
Yeah, I don't think they have an Oscar.
Well, they're getting pretty close. If they don't got.
Blame Canada was nominated, but it didn't win.
They did not win the Oscar.
No. But yeah, I came to it later. Like, there were a couple episodes like in middle school that I would watch like one-offs of, like the Lake Titicaca episode with the shark and Towley getting help. I watched that one live, and so I was able to talk with all my friends in middle school about it that day. But the fact that they took on like the MPAA and were like, like I could definitely see that wasn't the initial goal, but the hurdles that the MPAA just kept throwing at them, they're like, okay, we're just gonna go through your hurdles and make fun of you along the way. And the fact that like even the MPAA didn't realize that the title of the movie as a joke is so funny that it starts you off on the right foot like right away. And
it kind of almost reminded me of another one of your picks, the scene in Saturday Night when they're going over the jokes with the lady who's in charge of censorship. And they keep being like, no, it's not that. We're talking about this. When clearly they're like inappropriate jokes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, I there's just so many like moments in this. Like the like everybody, like the, Trey Parker and Matt Stone really like Uncle Fucker, and I kind of think that that's the worst song of all of them.
It's one of the catchiest ones though too.
Unfortunately, it is.
My personal favorite is Kyle's Mom's a Bitch.
Yes, absolutely.
Whenever like somebody says something that like I know what they're gonna say and I don't want them to say it, I always quote the Kyle part. Don't you dare! Like, don't you start! Like, it just, I just the way that starts off like it just
the like multiple fake outs before.
And they do such a good job too of like making her intimidating.
Yes.
Like when she comes in and she stands behind him, it's like, oh shit! Like you can like. Like you almost can feel like what it was like to be afraid of parents, adults,
right?
I thought it was great. The song.
They also really captured that too as a kid, where you're like, yeah, this is bullshit. This is so fucking stupid. And then they're like, well, then say something to your parents, and you're like, what? No. Why would I ever do that? Like,
and I also love that
all the tough talk immediately goes to the wayside. I'm just like.
You can definitely tell that they're more kid-like in this 99 movie than they are in today's versions of them. Because, like, like how Stan can't talk to Wendy.
I've never been more seen.
I thought that was great. How he can't confront his mother. There's so many. The arguments with Saddam and the devil.
And quickly, the joke of when Kenny catches fire and Cartman's beating him with a stick, and then the stick catches on fire, and he goes, "Oh no, the stick's on fire!" And he throws it away. He's just like that. The doctor's trying to save him, and he's
George Clooney.
Yes, it's George Clooney. His heart stops. We'll take it out.
This never gets any easier.
But
all right, let's go.
The last thing is they made the devil a sympathetic character, which I always appreciate in any sort of media. Like one of my favorite songs is "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones. That finding, basically humanity in what's supposed to be the most evil thing in the world. I don't know. That just I don't know. I find a sense of peace in that. But what were you guys' opinions?
I've seen this multiple times, so I was excited to see it again because, like I said, I haven't watched it in a long time. I remembered so much of this movie, like almost word for word. You mentioned the songs, of course. What Would Brian Boitano Do is another great one.
Yep.
There's a joke at the end where, because Stan's on his mission to find the clitoris the whole time. And after he talks to it, and they're in the middle of the war, and he goes, "I found it." And Cartman goes, "Oh, well, all's well that ends well. I guess we're all good." And just like in the middle of gunfire, just the sarcastic, like, "Good news, everybody. We're all okay." And like it's so good the way they just completely disregard him and his quest. Lots of jokes that I remember most of it. Still lots of jokes that I didn't remember. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are just so unbelievably good at what they do, and it's great. It's so funny. I will say I was kind of bummed out at how relevant some of it was.
Yes.
When we are recording this, the weekend after Trump's UFC fight at the White House, and then in this, they're like, "We're doing the public execution, but first, a performance from this person and this person," and I'm just like. Okay.
I mean, one of my notes is this
stuff.
One of my notes is this war with Canada is oddly more justifiable than the one with Iran.
That's another thing. The Canadian Prime Minister talking to Sheila, he's like, "Can I speak? Can I finish?" And he's like, "The Canadian government has apologized for Bryan Adams multiple times."
They kill the Baldwins.
You didn't get me as another planes over that.
Like you said, Chad, though, I was not expecting. First off, I wasn't expecting the sincere songs. I think there's 2 or 3 of them. I definitely wasn't expecting the first one to be from the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Watching it, I was similar to the last note. The government's behavior in this movie today didn't feel that crazy. I was like, hey, at least they're consistent. I love the saying, "Can speak to Wendy." One of my favorite lines: "We could be grounded for 2 or 3 weeks." Like when they're going to go break out Terrence and Phillip from the government camp.
Off that really quick, when they go to meet the mole and you don't know who he is, and he comes to the door smoking a cigarette with the shovel attached to his back. Like, come on, man, that's like, so funny.
It's so French. It's so great.
The French kid was such a great character that I found myself like, why did they not bring this kid back? Why is he not reoccurring, man? This guy should still be there. I mean, now he'd be, they probably would have flanderized him, but like, he was so good, and I just love that, like, him and I forget the British kids, we're like
Kip,
the 2 actual like revolutionaries, the 2 actual ones who like the 2 of them could have done this probably on their own together flawlessly, and meanwhile like they're being forced to like kind of tag along, and it's not even like, it's almost like a subplot also, like they're all the characters are focused on something else, it seems. But no, I think this might have been my first. I know I've seen a lot of this one. I don't know if I've ever actually saw it all the way through. I think I started so much of it, and then I'd listened to the song so much. I think I listened to the songs before I saw any of the movie. I think it was like I just finding, like in middle school, finding like kind of like those funny, dirty songs, Yeah. I remember around the same time.
I definitely saw Kyle's Mom's a Bitch before I saw the movie.
Around the same time, Semi-Pro's Love Me Sexy came out, and then there was like some Adam Sandler songs I had. Like, it was just like, I had to listen to songs. This is just my gag music, But no, I really did enjoy this one. Chad, let me ask you this: have you seen? Because if you're only really getting to South Park more recently, and I would say I feel like I got into later. I mean, mine was a little earlier than yours. Mine was in high school, but I felt like I still was later. My uncle tried to introduce it to me when I was in elementary or middle school. I remember thinking to myself, being like, "I don't think I'm gonna watch this, buddy." Like, I was very much a Butters growing up. So I do also relate to the Butters character. But have you seen South Park? Have you seen 7 Days to Air?
6 Days to Air. Yes.
Oh, 6 Days to Air. I love that. Now I think they do 10. But just a great documentary to see.
Yeah, I've seen most of the behind the scenes stuff, like the Bill Hader, like when they're doing the Steamy Ray Vaughan
shit in your britches or whatever it is.
Yeah, the Guitar Hero episode. That's just, and I love the fact that Ike is I think Trey's daughter is this. Every time that Ike shows up in the show, it just makes me laugh. But
kick the baby.
Don't kick the baby.
I definitely think, I always love a good, the title goes around, is like obviously a nice little trick of the MPAA. They didn't bother tricking the MPAA. This was right in your face with everything. I do think it's crazy to talk about, right? When you think about how basically they're like, we got a weird country, man. Freedom of speech, although that speech doesn't pertain to the radio or film, broadcasting.
You got freedom of speech as long as people can't hear it.
Or arguably the written word also, especially if you want to get particular with even with former government employees, they have to literally have their stuff completely edited, depending on where they're at. It's like it's a shame. Carlin's got. I think George Carlin. I don't know. I think he was actually kind of a key part of a case. Kind of it was I think that kind of caused some of the rulings to be what they were. I could be wrong on that, or maybe he just talks about the story a lot. But if you're going to the 7 dirty words, but at the same time, I wonder, and this isn't to be in in favor of the MPAA, but I do wonder if there is having that barrier to go around, to force your creativity to go around. I wonder if we don't, in some ways, get a better product sometimes, or I wonder if we didn't lose something by lessening those in some ways. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think there can be something to be gained from it. That's in terms of storytelling. The more that you're kind of forced to maybe show, not tell, or insinuate or hide things, I feel like that can sometimes add to a story or add to the viewing experience. I guess if I'm going to say something positive about the MPAA in a way.
I feel like it's very specific cases, but I do see what you're saying. I remember I took a film class in college, and they were talking about cinematography. There's a old foreign film. I don't even remember the name of the film, but there's this woman in a room, and the camera's in the hallway outside the room, and something happens in the room, but you can only see the woman's reaction to what happens in the room. And the cinematographer or somebody says, "Oh, we should get a shot of what happens in the room," and the director goes, "No." And the other guy was like, "I didn't understand it until they released the film." And the director, when that shot comes up, goes, "Watch the audience." And when the thing happens and the woman reacts, everybody tries to look around and see in the room, but you can't. And it just made it more scary or whatever. It was there's the actual visual storytelling is part of the story.
Yeah,
but
part of why I found footage works so well, because you're literally come on, move the fucking move it, come on, point it at the monster behind you. Why run with the camera if you're not going to use it?
But yeah, it's so funny that most of the hurdles were the language stuff and none of the violence.
They even have that line in there. They even talk about that a couple of times about gratuitous violence is fine, as long as we don't as long as we're the language, and in some ways it's kind of similar to some of the political systems we're now of being as horrible as Trump is, it's the part of the reason why it's so viewed as so bad is the lack of decorum. If he had the same decorum as Obama, it would, he's just, no one would really think much of it outside of basic partisan lines, and they wouldn't even be as charged as they are today. Yeah. Disney code.
I think I don't know. It's interesting, and I think they get their credit, but I don't know if they could fully get the credit they deserve for the way they sort of methodically pick apart. Obviously, in this one, they're Target, but every week on the show, they are up to date, attacking something currently happening in a way where they don't sacrifice humor for getting the point across, because they The point is always clear, and it's rarely overdone, I would say, and it's always funny.
They're always punching up.
Again, I haven't watched in a while. Yeah, it's never like it's rare. I mean, I can't think of any examples offhand where you're like kind of a cheap shot by South Park. You know, like it always feels smart, at least.
Yeah.
You know, just like they are masters at what they do, and they prove it pretty consistently.
And I agree. They especially when you see the appreciation you get when you see how quickly, because like I said, when most of the time when an animated show does something like this, does a season, it's like we're gonna do a few months of writing. We're gonna do make sure the scripts are good. Going through all the phases, and then it's gonna be okay. Well, now we go into the production, and we're gonna then we're gonna edit it and fine tune it and everything. And then we're going to release them in a scheduled way. Not like, this, we have nothing and tomorrow we got to have it,
Yeah.
Like it's really makes you appreciate everything they've done to another layer, No, really enjoy just South Park in general. I was hoping I was going to feel the same in terms of if they still might not, probably won't last as long. They probably won't last as long. I mean, what South Park does is just it's it's up there with the Simpsons, obviously. But I can't. I literally just blanked on what the other show I was about to say. Oh no,
Family Guy.
Rick and Morty. How I kind of I started off really loving Rick and Morty, and I feel like I fell off around season 4 or something. Mixture of just like not.
Let me just say, this past season, they're back.
I gotta be honest with you.
Season 8 is like back to prime. I really loved it.
Every time I see on TikTok the new voice or hear the new voice, I hate it.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand it. It sounds. It's like you could have found an. Don't tell me you can't find someone who could do an exact fucking voice. And this is off.
Had they not told me, I wouldn't have noticed.
I disagree. I feel like it's noticeably off. And it's like, it honestly feels like someone who thinks they can do an impression, doing a good impression, but not an impression. Or not a good, but not as good as they think, I guess. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I will say I liked a little bit of Solar Opposites as well. I watched, I think, the first 2 seasons of that, maybe. I think the first 2. I enjoyed that. A lot of comedies out there, cartoon wise. I was watching something like some detective one. I forget. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, I got to tell you which one I got to watch. I got to watch. I got to finish. I got to get back on Invincible. I haven't seen anything season 1.
Same.
So I'm behind. But so I guess for ratings,
I would scores. Yeah.
For myself, I would give it. I think I got to give this one a solid 4. Why I'm not giving it a 5 or a 4.5? No real reason. I think it's just plenty more South Park that I like maybe a little bit more than this particular one. Not without saying anything negative about it.
Yeah, I'm echoing that. I'm going to give it a 4 as well. It's not like losing a star for doing anything poorly. It just, a 5 has got to connect with me in a specific way. And this, maybe I've just seen it too many times.
And also comparing it to itself.
Yeah.
For me, it's between a 4.5 and a 5 for me. I think I'm going to go 4.5, mostly because, like you guys said, there's other South Park episodes that I think I prefer, but on its own, it's definitely, worth the hour and 40 minutes or whatever it is.
I mean, the fact that I could enjoy a song that was one of these ridiculous songs at 14, hear it for the first time again after 18 years and be like, yeah, like enjoy it still, find it catchy and funny. Like that's something in itself. That it aged well. Judd Apatow movies don't always age well.
True. If all of South Park tomorrow they were like, guys, we fucked up, it's gone. Like we have no other South Park, but the movie is still there. New people could still discover the movie and love it. Like you don't need the backing of multiple seasons of South Park to enjoy it.
Literally, when he's hitting him with the lightning bolts from swearing is.
One of the swears he ends with Barbara Streisand.
Yep. So I while in the car over the weekend in Boston, I did put out some reviews for about like a dozen movies on Letterboxd. So,
oh shit.
If you want to check those out,
busy week.
I do.
We were literally sitting in traffic in the car, and I was like, well, I could do this.
So, Josh, are you doing the film? You're doing the film of the week now.
Yes, it is my pick for film of the week. So I am breaking my own annoying formula that only serves to piss me off, where I give too many options. So I'm giving 3 options this week. First is a movie, and some of these are repeats. A movie I'm desperate for more of, even if the cast changes. A movie that is based on one of my favorite hobbies. And a movie made by a studio. A movie put out by a studio that cost a different studio over $1 billion.
Is number 2 Free Solo?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite hobby. It used to be, but now I'm over it.
Is it The Descent?
No.
Okay.
I'll say no horror this week.
Safer hobbies. Is there a fantasy football movie?
I'm sure.
The first one's not Knives Out, is it?
No.
Is it? Would you say, even with a different cast, would that be a weird? Would that be out of the? Is that like would that fit with this movie, different cast, or would that just be like you're just saying like?
No, they could definitely make it work.
Is that because of how old the other one is?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm leaning towards the second 2, but
I'm leaning towards. I would say I kind of am interested in the Billions one, if I'm being honest.
yeah, because I like having multi-billion-dollar company lose money. That always makes me happy.
So, which one are we landing on? The one that cost the studio $1 billion?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a movie that goes down in history as one of the biggest fumbles in the history of a movie studio. This is a movie that was made by Sony, and instead of putting it out on their own, Sony sold it to Netflix for like $20 million and has gone on to become a $1 billion property. My biggest surprise of the past couple years.
Yes!
K-pop Demon Hunters, baby.
Okay.
This movie is truly, I watched it because I heard the hype and I thought, there's no way this dumb fucking movie, K-pop Demon Hunters. I watched it. It is unreal. The soundtrack is incredible. It is I think every song has like been a top 10 song in the world at one point since the movie came out. I'll talk more about why it's such a big fumble for Sony beyond just the fact that it was so successful, but that I will save for next week.
Back-to-back musicals. Let's go.
Brennan, have you seen this movie?
I know nothing of it except I've heard the title, not even knowing it was just heard the phrase K-pop Demon Hunters. I knew that it was maybe a cartoon to some sort was involved in it. There was animation behind it or something.
Yeah, I kind of like bullied Chad into watching this very shortly after I did because I was like, I feel like he would love it, and you'll find out if he did. I mean, you saw his reaction when I pulled that up.
Yeah, I was excited to watch it. That I wouldn't watch it because I'm against it, but like I wouldn't think to watch it. I wouldn't you probably it wouldn't be something so I love when we pick a movie like that. It's something I wouldn't normally myself choose outright. You know, it's always exciting to kind of expand like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, I'm excited. This is a movie I throw on in the background every now and again anyway. So for me, watching it again, it's just like, here we go again. Yeah. So we will be back next week to discuss K-Pop Demon Hunters, episode 23. Who would have thought, right?
It's our Blink episode.
Never a doubt.
I'm sure everyone's going to hate this episode. Oh, no. But yeah, until then, I've been Josh.
I've been Brennan.
And I'm Chad.
And we will see you next week.